Hey, everybody. This is your daily dose of all things royal. Well, hello, my gorgeous looking friends. I am back and I have a bonus video for you of crazy days and nights. But before we get started, if you do the kind favor for me, if you like my channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. I've got more content that I'm working on that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. And don't forget to like and share because this is some good stuff. All right, let's get into it. This is dated March 31st, 2019. So, what does the palace do to the newspapers and tabloids in the countries they can't threaten when those tabloids talk about the royal affair? They did manage to shut down the naked photos years ago, but that was a little easier because it involved nudity. It will also be interesting to see if anyone says anything about her ex that she has seen multiple times over the past 2 years. The ex never lost his hair. I must confess, I did not give you all the blind items because I wanted to stay away from talking about any gossip surrounding the Prince and Princess of Wales. However, this does involve Meghan Markle. And I think now is the appropriate time to discuss this in preparation for what is to come. Now, I'm going to work backwards on this blind item and address Kate Middleton and her communication with her ex over the past 2 years. I don't know anything about it. I don't care to know anything about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. But what I am going to talk about is what they're referencing here about the newspapers and the tabloids during that time. Back on March 25th, 2019, Dan Wooten from The Sun had reported that there was a friendship fallout between the Princess of Wales and a woman by the name of Rose Hanbury. Now, I don't know why it was such a big deal for the world to know that Kate and her best friend had a falling out, but apparently it made headlines, leaving people to speculate, but nobody knew exactly why until Giles Coren, a British columnist for the Times UK, decided to tweet this out. Yes, it is an affair. I haven't read the piece, but I know about the affair. Everyone knows about the affair, darling. So irresponsibly, this jerk decides to post this tweet and it goes viral on all social media platforms. Enter in this blind item dated April 22nd, 2019. Apparently, the source for a lot of anti-brother and sister-in-law gossip is coming straight from the illiterate former actress. The tips have really ramped up since getting a social media account again, and no shocker there that they're talking about Meghan Markle. Two pretty significant things happened for the royals in the month of April 2019. First, the Sussex Royal Instagram account went live, and second, in the US, In Touch Weekly magazine publishes their April 4th, 2019 issue. So it was this magazine and this cover story that made this rumor catch fire across mainstream media. So I'm going to share with you what they wrote. So it says, the curious story seemed to pop up out of nowhere. In late March, the UK's Sun newspaper published a story alleging that Kate Middleton had a falling out with her best friend and Norfolk, England neighbor Rose Hanbury, who, with her husband David Rock Savage, is part of Prince William and Kate's insular community of wealthy landowners dubbed the Turnip Toffs, and had phased the pair out of her life. Then came another report, this time claiming that both couples were extremely upset about the first story that was, on the surface, about nothing more than a soured friendship. The royals rarely let the press ruffle them, and much worse stories have been written about them, explains the insider. So many royal watchers have speculated that their reaction means something's up. And it's really bad. According to speculation in posh circles, there are rumors that William had an affair and could have cheated on Kate while she was pregnant. A palace insider tells In Touch, explaining that whispers started over a year ago before Kate gave birth to Prince Louis in April 2018. Yeah, palace insider. More like a palace rat. So the article continues on to talk about this rural rivalry. And it says, Kay was humiliated when she heard the rumors, sources tell In Touch. Kate was told William has carried a torch for Rose for years. He raised eyebrows with his comments about her grace and beauty and even confided to pals she was the one that got away. The source says of the former model who has known William all her life, the 35-year-old Marchioness of Cholmondeley and her 23 years older husband, David the Marquess of Cholmondeley, were even guests at William and Kate's 2011 wedding. Kate immediately confronted him, demanding to know the truth about his relationship with Rose, but he just laughed it off, saying there was nothing to it. Yeah, okay, like anybody really believes this shit? I'm not going to read any more of this tripe because the spread in itself was a complete smear campaign against the Princess of Wales. At this point, it's so obvious that it was Meghan who caused this whole disruption. And from what I have been reading and witnessing over the last couple of years in this saga, this really did start with that Twitter tweet that I showed you by Giles Coren. It just so happens that Giles Coren is a friend of Meghan Markle, and they just so happen to have spent, in September 2018, a weekend together at the opening of the Soho House in Amsterdam. It just so happens today I reread this article, and there's one detail that I would like to raise now because at the time when this article came out, I don't think anybody bat an eye, but I think we should be batting our eyes now. So it says, a source said, the royal couple stayed in the hotel for security reasons, and because they didn't want to be photographed, the boats had see-through roofs. When there were drinks on Saturday before the dinner, they also hung back in a separate area, chatting quietly with friends. On Saturday night, Harry and Meghan were seated at one discreet end of a long table and were served lobster spaghetti followed by tiramisu. Meghan, smiling and giggling, had a glass of red wine in front of her. Perhaps it was her favorite. On the Soho House menu at £115 a bottle, while Harry seemed to be drinking vodka cocktails. Okay, guys. This article was printed in September of 2018. When was the announcement that she was pregnant? Oh, right. That was October 15th. And allegedly, she was 3 months along at that point. So, what was Meghan Markle doing, boozing it up in Amsterdam? Kind of makes you think, huh? I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions on that one. This article also does say that Meghan knew Giles Coren prior to this weekend that they spent in Amsterdam. So they were all getting together with friends to celebrate, and whether it be they were imbibing on alcohol or other mind-altering substances, somehow this was discussed and it got out by this initial tweet. So as this rumor gained momentum on social media, it accelerated its spread by the In Touch weekly cover story. And this, hands down, in my opinion, was a coordinated attack by Meghan as revenge against William because she wanted William and she couldn't get him and is so envious of Catherine. You know, Meghan, in my opinion, from what I've seen, she liked William more. Obviously, we all look at William and say he was the preferred prince. And a theory that I share with many people is that Meghan probably liked William more because he was the cuter one when he was a teenager. You know, all of us favored William over Harry. Now, this is purely my speculation and opinion. The type of woman that Meghan is, deceitful, manipulative, she doesn't like to be second, and she dated Harry, in my opinion, to purposely get her foot in the door. And I will bet, because we've seen many photos of her looking at William in a way that she doesn't even look at her husband, that she tried to seduce William into having an affair or to cheat on her. In order to break that up, William's a smart man, and he has filet mignon waiting for him at home. He doesn't need that chopped meat that's sitting over there 10 days old, rotting. If Meghan was on fire, I don't even think Prince William would even spit on her after the way she treated Catherine and his daughter before the wedding. And Meghan, being the narcissist that she is so bitterly jealous over Catherine because she hates that Catherine has everything that she wants and will never be able to have. So she started those rumors of William having an affair and then coordinated all these different media sources to blow up this news to disrupt and, in the attempt to try and break those two up. Because if she can't have it, she definitely doesn't want Catherine and them to have it. So she's going to do whatever she needs to do. And this next blind item confirms Meghan's connection with In Touch Weekly. It says, it appears that the illiterate one got one of the US tabloids, not named knee pads, aka People magazine, on her side. A recent cover has a headline that it just so happens to be the title that is registered and owned by one of their employees. If that movie was made, there would never be a chance for redemption. Now, they're talking about one of the cover stories that said the Queen killed my mother, and it just so happened that Ben Browning, who now works for Archwell, owns the rights to that movie script, but we're not talking about that. We're making the connection that ties her directly to this magazine. This is Megan Heinz, and she was the senior editor at In Touch Weekly when the April 4th, 2019 issue was published. So she was the one that actually had the final say on the cover story and the editorial inside. She is recently now over at Newsweek in London. But a little bit about her background. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication Studies with minors in radio and television broadcasting, journalism, and British studies. She's not a squatty, but she is connected professionally with all the industry liberal media outlets like People Magazine, Us Weekly, Elle, all the ones that we see Meghan pushing out puff pieces to. And as you can see, she's following the Sussex Royal Instagram account. So, is it possible that on April 2nd, when Meghan went live with her Instagram account, that she DM'd In Touch? Absolutely. It's possible. We all know that this is rumor and it's not true because William threatened legal action. And in this blind item, it says, I guess this A-list royal we all love had no say in the guest list for that recent big dinner. That banished royal was there, but without her wedding ring. And here we go. So Rose Hanbury went to a dinner and everything was fine. So not only was Williams threatening to sue for slander, but you have Rose showing up. I mean, you would think if she was part of a scandal like this, she wouldn't be showing her face. Unlike Meghan Markle, you have all these things coming out in Tom Bower's book and Valentine Lowe's book, and she is not even talking about it or even threatening with a lawsuit. So, what does that tell you? But sadly, the damage was done, and it was an orchestrated campaign, not only from In Touch perspective, but then to the Psycho Squad, and then the other places where Meghan puts out her lies, such as Cosmopolitan, Glamour, Marie Claire, Elle, all the traditional leftist, progressive media outlets that Meghan has used, especially The Cut. The Cut actually did a scathing article about this. I think the blind items pertaining to this particular situation were so far off the mark. Like this next one, it says, The woman with the very tough title to pronounce is getting divorced. Apparently, she is still seeing the royal. So there's no evidence of this. And P.S., we're in 2022. This was posted in 2019. Rose Hanbury is still married and she has 3 children. So this next one does solidify my thoughts around how solid this entertainment lawyer's sources are when it comes to the royals. And this is what it says. October 14th, 2019. Over the years, I have told you how difficult it is to get really good royal gossip. That is, of course, before the illiterate one came along. She has so many friends who are always willing to talk. The royal, and I can't say this word on YouTube, has an offspring living in the States. So gossip can be gained through that branch too. Except for that, there really has not been a way to get gossip on anyone else unless they encountered someone who was willing to share. The royals themselves were not sharing. Over the past year, the illiterate side has tried to spill whatever tea they can about the other half of the family. The thing is, though, because of the wide divide between the two halves, there has not been much interesting to share. For this blind, the tip took nearly 6 months before it finally broke free from the illiterate side, and it is a good one. So, meaning Meghan. The reason was well documented. It was such a rough split that the wife chose to cancel all her events that had been scheduled for a trip with her husband, and he was to go alone. Oh, he traveled alone, all right, but he didn't stay alone. The person that was at the center of the mini split was there the entire time. The tip that made its way to the illiterate side and eventually out to me and to you didn't include whether the wife knew about it or not. It was only about 5 weeks after the trip that the person in question also showed up at a very big event, which both of the husband and wife attended. So here we're talking about Meghan Markle and the royal that's in the States as well at the time was Princess Beatrice, and then William and Kate, and of course, Rose Hanbury. So when you listen to this, you know that this information is coming from Meghan. And she's making stuff up because I did look into this and there was no evidence that this separation or this trip occurred. I think there is more that's going to come, and I'm going to show you in a second. But let me read the last blind item because it's also wrong. So, December 7th, 2020, it says, it is way easier for this foreign born A+ list couple to hide the separate bedroom thing at home. It is much harder on the road, so you get the excuse. You could just mention the affair and that it had been hard to forgive. I'll be honest, before this divorcee rocked up into the royal family, you heard nothing about this couple. And whatever their personal or, love life is, that's between them. They don't share it with anybody. So for this to come out as a result of having this fame hungry whore in the family is truly disgusting and it's embarrassing. The thing is she is so envious and so jealous of not getting what she thought she was going to get with the spare that she has to damage something really good. And I think that what we're about to see, and the reason why I did these blind items, I didn't want to bring this up in the series that I did because, quite frankly, this rumor should not be discussed. However, we all need to be prepared because today I was in the St. Meghan Markle Reddit community and I saw this. So, this blind item was found in The Spectator, well-known publication, and it says, little birds have been whispering in Cockburn's ears. Rumor has it, a well-known member of a royal family is set to release a memoir, but the book's publication has been pushed back. Some commentators claim that the legal process could be the cause of the backup, or the fact that the author is scrambling to pull some information out which could be damning for the rest of the family. Sources allege that the book will detail a supposed affair that the author's sibling had. The chapter, which goes in depth on the sword fling, contains lines similar to, "I can't believe my sibling would treat their spouse like this after what our father did to our mother." After the sibling found out about the bombshell, it has been alleged that they are unable to look the troublesome scribe in the eye. I'm going to tell you right now, after what I just showed you, Meghan Markle is behind this. And if Harry allows this book to drop and this type of information is in it, we really have to rally behind William and Kate, because you know that what's going to be put in this book, I will bet, will be lies. This is bad. This is bad if it gets to this point and Harry actually does go through with it and does this to his own brother. So, what really is upsetting about this, if this does happen, is that William and Kate have 3 children that are going to have to face all these rumors because you have this devil woman in California fueling the fire with her minions that are being told to push this stuff out. And when you have this amplified on such a massive scale, it's almost inevitable that these kids are going to have to face this. There will be no going back for Harry, and I believe that this is what Meghan wants. She wants him to completely be cut off from his family and destroyed. She's going to leave him. It's coming. And she is going to make sure that when she leaves, he has no way to go back to having the life that he used to, because if she can't have it, he certainly is not going to be able to have it without her. I don't see this ending very well at all. What do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, and I will be back soon. Bye.
Such a fraud.